What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be speaking about my first year in real estate. A lot of people say, what does your first year in real estate or as a realtor look like? To be quite honest, it's different for a little bit for everybody. I got into real estate doing development work and doing renovation projects. A lot of my day was structured around waking up around 6:30, being on job site around 7, working with the contractors and subcontractors until about 9 or 10, and then the real estate world wakes up then, and going through and doing showings, calling clients, and really structuring deals and taking appointments from there. I would truthfully say in the beginning I took anything and everything possible as far as appointments go. So we have an ISA, which is an internal sales agent, and they're the ones that make calls and be able to set appointments for me to start out. Being from the Washington, D.C. area, I had a lot of contacts to begin with, but I was 24. My age group wasn't really buying homes primarily until honestly about recently. Beginning was just the hustle and the grind associated to meeting with anybody and everybody in the Washington, D.C. area, so D.C., Maryland, Virginia, trying to be able to help them in the real estate game of anything from buying, from selling, from investing, really being able to anything that expanded past the industry that we'd be able to potentially help with. A lot of lessons learned associated to my first year in real estate, and to find out pre-qualifying individuals was the biggest thing that I learned. I went on a lot of appointments, and now many of the appointments I go on are already vetted so far through the filter that they end up closing, whereas in the beginning wasn't really like that. I was driving all over, hour to about an hour and a half for some of these appointments before even finding out if they had a pre-approval or a pre-qualification, if they could even buy. As I learned to be able to convert individuals, which is just being able to pre-qualify them that they could buy or sell, or that they did in fact and were in fact ready to buy or sell, that was a huge thing that kind of transitioned for me. It's a roller coaster ride, until you get into consistency associated to have consistent appointments and closings rolling. My first closing didn't come until I started in August 2017. And then I believe my first closing was in October of 2017. So you're sitting there like, I'm walking in, I'm ready to make money, I'm ready to close deal, real estate, you're gonna make all this money. But there's such a delay, and it's a momentum game where it's like a snowball effect. The appointments that I took in August, of those, the first one that really closed was in October, and then had a few in October, a few more in November and December, and then it continued to trickle from there. And learning how that momentum worked and how the seasons of real estate kind of functioned was the biggest thing within my first year of real estate. Along with that is also learning who I was and what type of realtor and who I would help. So it was more of, learning like who fits towards what I'm doing and what I can help. It's okay if you don't, mesh and or if you can't help everybody. I'm gonna try my best to do that, but sometimes it's just not gonna work. Some of these deals I had a client that we would do the entire deal between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. People were like, oh, you're crazy, but if nobody asked why. And the why was because she was a single mother of 3 children, she had 2 jobs, and she went through 4 realtors before me, but nobody asked why. And they just said, well, she never answered, and it's, she was terrible, she couldn't communicate. Well, it's because she was working 20 hours a day, and she was trying to provide for her 3 children. She was paying an absorbent amount for rent, but so I partnered with a lender and myself, and we made the commitment to each other and her that we're gonna do this. Like, this is, if you're working and making this as a dream of yours, then we're gonna make that happen. Really being able to ask why, be able to better help and provide that fit. Would I do it again at this point? I think I would love to say that I still would, but I try to put a little bit more of bumper guards on when I respond and how I respond, because I've got to have some balance in my life too. But definitely in the beginning, it was just anything and everything to try to make sure that nothing fell through. First year in real estate is a lot of lessons in being able to learn who you are, what type of deals and areas you want to be in, learning about, what does that look like as far as lead time in your market, from meeting a client to closing them. There's a lot of different avenues, and every market's different, and there's no one way to do it either. Some realtors close deals in their first month. Some don't do it for the first 6 months. Others take a year. It's really all about the work that you put in, and the more people that you're meeting with on the front end, and the more that you're trying to help and educate the more opportunities for success kind of are set up for you. Biggest advice, I think, overall would just be exposed to as many things as possible, learn as many things as possible. I shadowed as many agents as possible, including my uncle, to try to get the behind the scenes. Really just diving in, going all in, living, eating, sleeping, breathing real estate to be as much of a sponge as possible to help others. And then the rest of it kind of comes into place from there. That would be about the first year of real estate. It was a lot of hours, a lot of gray hair that I have as a result of it, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I hope you guys enjoyed my story for the first year in real estate. We'll give another behind the scenes as far as how I got into real estate as well in another video. I want to hear your stories about how your first year was if you're a realtor, or what industry you got in or you took a chance in. So please comment below on any of the feedback you may have associated with this video, and I appreciate you guys watching.